took him down with you. No! He had respawn invincibility. Yep. Oh my.
Yeah, I should probably mute the stream a little bit.
You turned team members on? Yeah. Yes, yes, thank you! That actually saved me there. Oh, I'm dead again. Dude, I died twice so far.
I am actually live on stream right now.
Wow, I just skipped by that.
Let's mute that.
No, I heard the, like the little... Yeah, I know, but... Maybe that was Nest Smash. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. But I don't think that only...
We'll be on... Actually supposed to be on in 2 minutes. Hopefully this will work. I don't know, maybe it will. Alright. We're actually on stream, and it actually is working, and hopefully it'll remain working for the time being. So, I put it on Facebook, I put it on Skype, told everybody I knew to get the hell on and watch my stream for a few minutes, at least.
I can't believe I just let that happen. That would have been... Oh, that's good. So much damage. Alright, I'm at 1. I'm also at 1. Yeah, you're close to 9. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay, kill West again. Just get him to, like, a little damage and I'll 9 him. Oh, the 5. Oh, getting gimped.
Seems sweet. Alright.
Pretty good. I'm actually a lot of damage.
Okay, so let's... I guess we'll try this. God, let's hope this works. Okay, so, apparently Kevin's watching me.
Oh. I could have made that back.
Or at least I hope so. Yep. He's watching. I saw his comment. Alright.
Can they hear me?
I would assume so. Yo, Kevin, if you're watching the stream, put a little message in chat. Can you hear Jurassic Park? Let's find out. There's a 20-second stream delay, so... Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. I would assume he can hear you. Okay. So... Alright. Let's do it, I guess. So, this is really more of a thing to introduce for actual recording, but for all people who are actually watching this in any different time that they would be watching, me and my friend here, Jurassic Park, whose real name is Max, we're going to live brew a commander deck. And I have XSplit on, and hopefully it's going to capture my screen and record what I'm doing. And if that works, then hallelujah, holy shit. And if it doesn't, then, well, at least we tried. Alright, so, the commander that we decided is going to be Edric, Spymaster of Trest, who's 1 a blue and a green for a legendary creature, Elf Rogue, and he says that whenever a creature deals damage to one of your opponents, that creature's controller may draw a card. Or is it may draw a card or does draw a card? Basically, the deck can go one of 2 directions. We can go with the politics-driven, yeah, it's a may draw a card. We can go with the politics-driven, like, deck that's just, like, more good stuff and then just fun politics plays. Or we can go with the competitive level deck, which seeks to win almost instantly and play like a billion elves on a turn and just rip ass.
Elves are good. Rip ass. Exactly.
So, do we want to do the fun politics driven method or the competitive rip ass elves method?
I would go with politics. I just like politics better.
Alright.
I actually have to do something really quick. I'm gonna mute my mic, but I can hear you still.
Alright. So, we're going to start, I guess, by working out the land base. So most of the time, the land base would work that you would have... I'm going to actually open up the stream. The land base would work such that you would have, like 38 lands and 6 mana sources. Mana sources maybe being like, well, sorry, not 38 land, like 8 external mana sources, like ramp spells, artifact mana sources, stuff like that, maybe additional lands, like 46 separate mana sources in total, I guess it would be the primary focus. So, upon opening up stream, we're going to at least try to do a preliminary sketch of what we're going to do for these lands and sources. So, we have the ability to run expensive stuff, but I think we should go for more of a budget build. So the first couple of ones, like lands and stuff we're going to be doing, are probably going to be like utility. So like there's Command Tower, which we always have to run because it's like a dual land. Basically it adds 1 mana of our commander's color identity to our mana pool, specifically made for commander. It's pretty good. Reliquary Tower, because it gives us no maximum hand size, and with Edric we're going to be drawing lots of cards.
You know what you really need?
What?
You really need an Alpha Soul Ring.
So besides the Alpha Soul Ring that we're gonna inevitably need to include, actually we're not gonna do that, so kill yourself.
Okay.
We're gonna have a Bant Panorama because panoramas are just sweet. A Terramorphic Expanse, an Evolving Wilds, the Vivid Lands, Vivid Grove. I got a Skype message. Vivid Grove and Vivid. What is it? What's the other Vivid Land? Well, the Vivid Lands. Okay, so I'll actually explain these cards because I can't assume that you guys know what these do. So, the Vivid Lands are enter the battlefield tapped and tap for a color, but they enter the battlefield with 2 charge counters, and then you play, and then you can tap it and remove a charge counter to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool in case you're running low on mana. I'm getting Skype messages. So okay, so apparently now somebody else is watching the stream, which actually is pretty sweet. So, Terramorphic Expanse and Evolving Wilds both have the same ability, which is that they have... Somebody type something in chat. Is that they have, come on, for fuck's sake. The stream appears to not be working on my computer, but, Thomas and Kevin have streams, so we're just gonna assume that they know what's going on.
By the way, if I stream, that's because I made an amazing play.
Sweet. Terramorphic Expanse and Evolving Wilds both have the same ability, and yeah, they're playing Super Smash Brothers, but they both have the same ability where you can tap and sacrifice them. What is it?
It's me.
Okay. Terramorphic Expanse and Evolving Wilds have the ability where you can tap and sacrifice them to go search for a basic land and put it on the battlefield tapped. So this gets any basic, so it's just more fixing, like we would normally have, kind of like a Guild Gate, I guess, but it's just one-time fixing. The panoramas are a little weird, and it's kind of like that new land, Warped Landscape, where you can tap Bant Panorama is the one we're running because it's the only one which includes both green and blue in it, or at least I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah.
So they have Bant Panorama, which says, tapped out a colorless, and then you can pay 1 tap and sacrifice Bant Panorama to search your library for a basic forest, plains, or island card and put it on the battlefield tapped. So it's like the Evolving Wilds or whatever, but you also can tap it for colorless, so it's technically not really a tap land. It's a little more efficient than the normal, Evolving Wilds or Terramorphic Expanse, but it only satisfies 3 colors. Luckily, we're only playing 2, so it helps. Reliquary Tower taps for colorless, but gives us no, maximum hand size.
Commander?
What is it now?
Is that card only for Commander?
The Panorama, you mean?
Yeah.
No, that's from Shards of Alara.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a pretty good card. And so the Vivid Lands, we have the Terramorphic Expanse, Bant Panorama, Command Tower, which adds mana of colors to the mana pool because of the color of your commander. The commander's color identity to the mana pool. So we're gonna want to add, I guess, the Guild Gate, and the Simic Growth Chamber because synergy, I guess. Thornwood Falls, all of which enter tapped.
Synergy, I guess.
I don't know. Simic Guild Gate and Thornwood Falls both enter the battlefield tap for green or blue, but Thornwood Falls gains you a life when it enters the battlefield. Simic Growth Chambers says that when it enters the battlefield tapped, you can you have to return a land to its owner's hand, and then you can tap that for a green and blue, so 2 mana. Next, do we want to include Novagen Heart of Progress in this deck? Novagen Heart of Progress, I'll actually bring these up because I have it on stream right now. I have a magiccards.info window. Novagen Heart of Progress says that it's a tap to add colorless to your mana pool, and you can pay a blue and a green and tap to put a +1/+1 counter on each creature that enters the battlefield this turn. I don't know. Are we adding that? No, 20 no increase made. I came here for Roblox. Send me vids, Sukalbayet. Alright, so obviously you guys are paying attention clearly to what's happening. I was just reading the chat. So I'm gonna include a Novagen, because it's just a good card, and if we have extra mana, we can use it. We'll also include Llanowar Reborn, which is a land that enters tapped and taps for a green and has Graft, which says that when a creature enters the this land has a +1/+1 counter on it. The land does, and when a creature enters the battlefield, you can move the +1/+1 counter from that land to that creature, which is a pretty sweet.
If that land becomes a land creature, does it still have the +1 counter?
Yes, it does.
Sick.
Yeah, that's actually real good, and if we wanted to do some land creature synergies, we could also do that. We're gonna have a Llanowar Reborn, and we're gonna have an Alchemist Refuge, because that's a land that I'll just look these up. Alchemist Refuge is a land that says that you tap it for a colorless, and then you have a blue and a green activated ability where you pay blue and a green and tap, and you may cast non-land cards this turn as though they had flash. And besides being able to create like a ridiculous combo with it, you can also it's flash. Like if you mind paying 2 extra mana for a spell, well then that sucks. But if you don't mind, then you can cast it at instant speed, and that can often be good. I'm actually building a standard deck right now, which incorporates some flash cards and some tempo plays, and it's a blue-green deck, and it's actually real good because of the new Shadows of Innistrad cards. So there's a couple of blue-green multi-lands. If there's any we forgot, we're gonna include Myriad Landscape, which I will pull up in a second, and the Hinterland Harbor. Hinterland Harbor enters tapped unless you control a forest or an island, so it's basically just a multi-land, and at worst it enters tapped, and at best it's a duel, which is real good. Lumbering Falls turns into a 3/3 green and blue creature with hexproof until end of turn with its ability. It also enters tapped and taps for a green and a blue, so it's a multi-land. Again, multi-land at worst, creature at best. Woodland Stream is simply the new tapped land, which enters tapped and just taps for green or blue. Yavimaya Coast taps for green or blue if we pay 1 life, but it enters the battlefield untapped, which is real good. Temple of Mystery enters the battlefield, we scry 1. It's just a lot of dual lands, multi-lands, fixing and stuff. Myriad Landscape I will show. Myriad Landscape's actually a lot more expensive than I originally thought it was, but it's only $4, but that's a lot more than I thought for just this uncommon land, which is, it enters the battlefield tapped. You can tap it for a colorless, or you can pay 2 and tap, sacrifice it, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards that share a land type, put them on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. So it's it's like Evolving Wilds, except ×2, basically, or like a Panorama ×2. But you can only get the same basic land type. Let's check here. Tommy's audio is so low. It really is. Oh, that's my bad. Sorry about that. We are actually up at 100%. The default speakers are high. I will go ahead and get a little closer. Yo! Alright, is that a little better now? Dog? Say something, Thomas, and tell me that if this is better.
I was so close to taking it back from some core stocks.
That sounds absolutely peachy, but please, all you gotta do is kill yourself. So let me see. Is there anything we are missing on this one? Oop. So I might have forgotten to type in a few words on this. So we put in a bunch of lands. Together they cost 21 bucks. So we want to have that 38 lands. We have 19 lands total in non-basics. Are we okay with having, do we want 19 basics to round out 38 lands, or do we want some more non-basic lands like utility lands or something?
If you already have as many, dual lands as you want, then you're good for 19.
Yeah. I want to say, let's try. I don't know if that's an is thing. I don't know what that. Oh, it's CC. It's CC. Okay. So that's can I say CI colorless? I want to see if I can find any. I want to see if I can find any utility lands for us to use. So there is 178 lands that we could possibly use for utility. Let's put that down. So let's play the cycling lands. The cycling lands are real good. I didn't even remember those. So T land cycling. The cycling lands have the ability cycling for either 1 mana of their color. I'm not gonna play Blasted Landscape because it just sucks, or 2 mana. So basically, we can just, if in the early game we can play them as lands, and in the late game we can just discard them if we don't need them and just draw a card out of it, which is pretty good. And if we play like Lore Scale Codal or something, then we can get value out of drawing cards. Slippery Karst and Tranquil Thicket. So now that we have all the lands, so I think that's just about all the lands besides basics that we're going to need. So that's 23, and so we want 38 lands in total, so it's going to be 15 basics. So that will probably be 8 islands and 7 forests, I'm going to guess. It might be a little more blue-centered, it might be a little more green-centered. We'll actually see. We might switch the ratio up to 8 forests and 7 islands later. But for now, this is what we have for our 38 lands. So now we're going to need our 8 mana sources. So because we're drawing so many cards, we want a Thought Vessel, which is a 2 mana artifact that taps for a colorless and says you have no maximum hand size, which is real good. We want a Simic Signet, which I will actually enter on here, which it's a commonly known card called a filter, and there are some other filters, like there are filter lands, and there are filter like artifacts and other stuff. There's even creatures that filter. There's a guy from called Vine Mystic from Shards of Alara, and he filters into green, white, Naya mana, which is green, white, and red. Want a Thought Vessel, a Simic Signet. We want a Soul Ring, the Alpha Soul Ring. We want Alpha Soul Ring. We want a Cultivate, a Kodama's Reach, and an Armillary Sphere. And I will put those up on the screen. So Kodama's Reach. We should really get like a card reader or some editing thing, and we might include these in like edits in the video. But Kodama's Reach says you go get 2 basics, and you put 1 on the battlefield tapped and the other in here. And so it's 2 and a green for a sorcery Arcane, where the Arcane subtype really doesn't matter in this case, but it is. Search your library for up to 2 basic lands, reveal those cards, and put 1 on the battlefield tapped and the other into your hand, then shuffle. So, good cards. Cultivate does just about the same thing, except it's not an Arcane. I think it might be a little bit different. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Oh, no, so it's the exact same. Cultivate's the exact same. Armillary Sphere gets 2 basic lands and puts them into your hand. It's actually a artifact. Soul Ring is so good that we can't not play it. So you pay 2 and tap, sacrifice Armillary Sphere, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand. Then shuffle your library. Soul Ring's so good that we can't not play it because it's not banned in Commander yet, and it's just real good. It's Soul Ring, pay 1 for an artifact that taps for 2. You can accelerate the crap out of that, even on, like, turn 1. So we currently have 6 external mana sources. We want a Rampant Growth, because it's a Rampant Growth. I'm not counting mana creatures in here, because we're just add those to the 99, like the rest of the 99. So Rampant Growth is, like, the quintessential ramp spell that everybody should have, because it's so good. and it searches your library for a basic land card and puts that card on the battlefield tapped, then shuffles the library. And yeah, Sakura Tribe Elder, which shows right here, is actually real good too. And then the last one is probably, it could be Wayfarer's Bauble, which I will show on screen. Could be Wayfarer's, Sukobliet, no, it sucks. Why do you play Roblox, Sukobliet? Oh, actually somebody else watched for, like, 2 seconds. So, here's a cringe. Okay, if it helps, times I solo. No, it sucks. When do you play Roblox? Sukobliet. Alright, all those things in chat. Wayfarer's Bauble's probably the best option. So it's 1 mana for an artifact that pays 2 and taps and sacrifices it to search your library for a basic land and puts that on another battlefield tapped. Then shuffles. So, so it's probably what we want, and we can replace that with something else in a later time. Worn Power Stone's actually okay. Actually, there's a card that's actually reasonably good, and it's called Felwar Stone. And this is really only good if you're playing in a multiplayer commander game, because like Felwar Stone looks like this. Felwar Stone is a card that says you pay 2 for an artifact, and you can tap it to add to your mana pool 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. So you can tap it. So in a major like 4 or 5 player game, most of the time you'll be completely fixed because it'll just be a Felwar Stone, and then you'll be great, and then it'll be a really good mana rock. In a game where that doesn't happen, well, I guess it's okay. So, Felwar Stone's an option, Wayfarer's Bauble's an option, and then we could go with one of my personal favorites, which I actually still play in my commander deck right now, which I'm steadily trying to make more competitive, which is Darksteel Ingot, which is a card which is severely underrated, because if somebody, like, Gaze of Granite's the board, or if somebody, not Cyclonic Rifts, if somebody, like, does the, like, Creeping Corrosion or something like that, destroys all artifacts or enchantments, like a Chroma's Vengeance, this is indestructible. It's 3 mana for an indestructible artifact that says tap to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. That's pretty okay. That's pretty good. So,
I thought it was 1 colorless.
No, it's not 1 colorless, it's 1 mana of any color.
Oh, that's bitchin'.
Yeah, that's really good. And it comes into play untapped, which is actually really good. That's helped me play my Deathrite Shamans a couple times. So we have 46 mana sources. We have... Oh, that's actually 37 lands. Why do I have to be such a retard?
I don't know, question for the ages.
So that's probably less than we want. So we have the Edric. We have the Edric, and then 38 cards, 38 lands, 8 spells, and Edric, which is our creature, because that's our commander. So you have 46 mana sources, and then Edric, which is 47 cards total. Now I want to play, like, mana dorks and stuff to take advantage of everything that everything has to offer. So Sakura Tribe Elder. So that's Sakura Tribe Elder. Elvish Mystic. Llanowar Elves. I want to play Birds of Paradise, which is a 1 green for a 0/1 flying bird that taps for 1 mana of any color. Sakura Tribe Elder is 1 and a green for a 1/1 that sacrifices to search your library for a basic land and put it onto the battlefield tapped. Kind of like a Strictly Better Rampant Growth, except you might do it later unless you just need the mana right then. And in which case it just is Rampant Growth, so it basically just is the Strictly Better Rampant Growth. Birds of Paradise, Elvish Mystic, Llanowar Elves. Let me see. Is there any, like, essential cards that we want to just play because, like, they're real good? Is there any, like, real good cards that we would consider playing?
I think you've got them all.
Well, I've got all the mana sources, but, like, is there any pet cards? Is there any cards that are, like, what cards do you like? I'm gonna add a couple. I'm gonna add Yavimaya Elder, because I just like him.
What colors is your commander?
Blue-green.
Oh, never mind. I was gonna suggest Typhoid Rats, because that is insanely OP in commander. Like, Typhoid Rats...
Yeah, Typhoid Rat's really good. Yavimaya Elder is 1 and 2 green for a 2/1, and when he dies, you can search your library for up to 2 basics and reveal them and then put them into your hand. If you do, shuffle your library, and you can pay 2 and sack him to draw a card. So you pay 2, sack him, draw a card, and then search for 2 basics, basically, which is real sweet. And then you can do that at instant speed, so you could get like another guy. I don't know. You could get like you could block and then just sack him in response. So you've blocked their big creature, and then you get the card and the guys. So I'm gonna just rattle off a few cards that I think we should play because they're just real good. So I'm gonna say Zamek Guildmage is our first one. So I'm gonna go down the line and discuss why I'm gonna play this. And if you think we shouldn't play it, or if you have anything to add, then don't hesitate to add in, and I might, pause for you to add a conjecture or something if you need to. So Zamek Guildmage is a blue and a green. He's like your 2-mana Planeswalker, because all the Guildmages pretty much are, because they all have real good abilities, especially, this is the Gatecrash one, the Return to Ravnica block ones, which feature the new guild homes, which Zamek is. And so Zamek is blue and a green for a 2/2, and he's a creature elf wizard, and he's blue and a green. This turn, each creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it, and he has blue and a green. Remove a +1/+1 counter from a creature you control to draw a card. So that's good as it is, and it synergizes with a lot of the stuff we've already set up, like Llanowar Reborn and stuff already in our mana base. And we might consider adding Oran Reef the Baskwood later, which I'll explain later. And we're gonna combine him with Lore Scale Codal, because Lore Scale Codal says, and yeah, I understand. I understand that I'm not letting you speak, but give me a second. Lore Scale Codal says that whenever you draw a card, you can put a +1/+1 counter on it. So basically, every turn, you have pay a blue and a green, draw a card, infinite number of times. Because you're paying a blue and a green, removing the +1/+1 counter from Lore Scale Codal to draw a card, which puts a +1/+1 counter on Lore Scale Codal. So you just have an infinite draw card engine as long as you have the mana up to do it, which is real good. Any thoughts?
Love drawing cards.
Well said. I think we should add Winged Codal, because blue-green doesn't have a sensational amount of removal, and Winged Codal is a great budget, sweet removal option that's often overlooked. And I'm just looking at, snakes, because blue-green is notorious for its snakes, and some of the snakes in blue-green are sweet. And Winged Codal is 1, a blue and a green, for a 1/1 creature with flash, flying, and death touch. So,
Love it.
yeah.
Death touch is always good for Commander.
Yeah, really is. There was, I don't remember if you were there for this, but we had a Commander game where I got totally blown out by this card, where I attack with, Terastodon, who's a 9/9, which I reanimated onto the battlefield, and then somebody just flashed this guy in Winged Codal and was like, block. And I'm like, well, shit. Because my 9... Yeah, because I spent 5 turns trying to get out this 9/9, and then they just instantly killed it. And this card will always be at least some value, because at worst you can just cast it at the end of their turn, and then you have a 1/1 flash flying death touch with hella they're not blocking, and then you get to draw a card off of Edric.
For hella sure they're not blocking that.
Yeah, exactly. And if they only have one creature to attack you with, they're never gonna attack you because they don't want that to die. And this guy is flying, so they can't even attack with a flying creature over him. And Edric says that...
Especially in teams, because if they attack, then they're dead, because everyone else is going to attack them, because by that time, everyone else is going to have attackers.
Yeah, exactly. Because, yeah.
And they're not going to have any blockers, and everyone else is going to have blockers, so they're going to be like, oh shit, everyone's attacking me.
Yeah.
I won. Hell, why? Probably because I attacked the guy with the Dutch touch creature. Dutch
yeah.
touch.
With the Dutch touch creature. Dutch chocolate ice cream. Yeah, Winged Codal, for that reason, and for the reason that Typhoid Rats is great in Commander, in that one Commander game where Jake, destroyed us with Typhoid Rats, I'm gonna say that is a good addition. On that note, I want to add Vidalcan Heretic, because I like cards that are balanced, fun play that makes everybody at the table love me, which is code for A blue and a green for a creature Vidalcan Rogue that says whenever he deals combat damage to opponent, I may draw a card.
Well, I like it.
So, I use the other card that we're going to add, Cassetto Orochi Archmage, because he synergizes with some of the snakes we have, and he's just a good card. Because he makes creatures unblockable, and if that creature is a snake, they get +2/+2 until the end of turn. So, you play Vidalcan Heretic, you make him unblockable, then you put Edric on the battlefield, and every time he deals combat damage, you draw 2 cards.
Goodness.
Yeah. And on that note...
3 cards, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. And on that note, I'd like to add the new guy from Shadows of Innistrad, Altered Ego. Because Altered Ego is like clone with green on it, and it's so good. Because it's 2, a green and a blue, and X. And it is a clone, so it enters the battlefield as a copy of a creature. It can't be countered, and it enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it.
Wow.
Yeah. You don't even have to pay anything for X, and this card is still busted. And then you pay X. You pay even 1 for X, and you copy the biggest creature on the board, and you automatically, for 5 mana, have the strongest creature on the battlefield no matter what situation, because you just one-upped the previous strongest creature. Altered Ego...
You just cast it for no X, and you still get the creature.
Yeah, exactly. And so you can just trade, or better yet, you don't attack the other player, and you, like, form an alliance with that player, and then you have their giant creature. And if they're... Or, it's best paired with something like a removal spell, where, like... And, like, this pairs well with Winged Codal, where they'll attack you, hoping that you'll trade, because they'll attack you with your giant creature. You'll flash in your Winged Codal, you'll block, Death Touch, it'll kill their giant creature, and now you have a copy of their giant creature, and oops, it has 5 +1/+1 counters on it.
Oops.
Yeah. Oops. 5 +1/+1 counters. Well, I'm fucked. Vidalcan Heretic's real good. Cassetto Orochi Archmage is real good. I want to add Mystic Snake. He's 2. He's 1 a green and 2 blue for a snake with flash, a 2/2, and when he enters the battlefield, counter target spell. So,
I like that.
yeah, where can you go wrong? Because Cassetto makes things unblockable. Edric makes you draw cards, so you have, and he makes it give it +2/+2, so you have that great body on the board, and you get to counter a spell. So basically what you just got was a 2/2 with flash for 2, like Ashcoat Bear. And then for 2 blue, you countered a spell. So counter spell and Grizzly Bear is all in Ashcoat Bear, all in one. Oh yeah, that seems fair. But what if we can't get Cassetto out? What if we screw up and we don't get him, and we draw a billion cards out of something, and we just don't get him? So, what do? I just added this card to my commander deck. We cast Worldly Tutor. Worldly Tutor is a card that's it's a balanced card. That was sarcasm. It's not a balanced card at all. It's extremely powerful. It's a balanced. It is a balanced card. And it says that it's an instant. You search your library for a creature card and reveal that card. Shuffle your library and put that card on top of it. Balanced, fun card. Let's add Void Slime, which is a card that says that's 2 blue and a green, and it says, is it 2 green and a blue or 2 blue and a green? It's 2 blue and a green, and it says counter target spell, activated ability, or triggered ability. So, if your ability becomes triggered, so if somebody, like, says something stupid and your ability becomes triggered, then it can counter that. No, that's actually false. But, it says counter target spell, activated ability, trigger ability. So, just about anything that happens. So, like, if your opponent is on, like, 2 land, and they're just like, alright, I'm gonna crack my fetch land and play my super powerful Dark Confidant or something, you're gonna be like, Void Slime it. Because sacrificing it was a cost of that ability. So they're going to sacrifice that land, you're going to counter that ability, and then they're not going to have a land. You just strip mined them. Which is just so good. So we added Void Slime, we added Worldly Tutor. We want Mystical Tutor, which searches for the instant or sorcery and puts it on the top. Where it reveals it, puts it on the top, it's an instant. It's real good. Vampiric Tutor is a card, but we're not going to play that because it's just so good. I don't know if there's a tutor in red, because I know that there's a tutor in white, which is Enlightened Tutor. This is going a little off track here, but I know that there's a tutor in white, Enlightened Tutor. Okay, so the CMC1 tutors, there is, besides unglued ones, no, there's not a red one. There is a black one in Vampiric Tutor where you get any card, but you lose 2 life, which is not a fair card, but apparently they thought that losing 2 life was a huge difference in Commander. No, they didn't think about Commander at that time. That was printed in Visions, but still. Worldly Tutor, which searches for the creature. Mystical Tutor searches for the instant or sorcery. And then Enlightened Tutor searches for the artifact or enchantment. There's also Personal Tutor, which searches for a sorcery. And Sylvan Tutor, which is a sorcery version of Worldly Tutor. But I'm not going to play any of those, because why the hell would I? So we added all those. So we added all those sweet cards. I want to add, let me see, what else? Is there any more busted-ass snakes? I don't know, that's a really broad...
I think there's a snake for, one with Death Touch. Oh, wait, Glistener Elf. No, why the hell would you add that?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, what the fuck's gotten into you?
Infect Commander, do it. You don't have to get 20 Infect counters. I mean, you don't have to get 20 poison counters, you still have to get 10.
Yeah, it's still 10. Infect Commander exists, it's just I'm not going to build it because it's just a dick move.
I will.
Alright, that's actually pretty fair. There's a guy in, Tom Davies, the guy who crushed me in pre-release. Ask him, he plays Infect Commander, and it's really, really sweet. It's just, and it took him, a year to build, and if you ask him for, to look at the deck, then his year of work will just be yours. I'm gonna play Broodbirth Viper, because it's 4 and a blue for a snake that has Myriad, and it's a 3/3. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, I may draw a card. Do you know what Myriad does? Myriad is this extremely busted ability, which says, whenever this creature attacks, for each opponent other than defending player, you may put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of this creature, tapped and attacking all other players. So you get a copy for each player attacking that player, and then those tokens go away. Each time one of these things deals damage to a player, it draws a card.
Don't play that game? Oh, wow, okay.
Then Edric, it draws 2 cards. Da-na-na-na. I'm also adding Clothing Oracle, because it's a green and a blue. For a Snake Elf Druid. When it enters the battlefield, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land card, put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, put that card in your hand. I don't even have to explain why this card is amazing. Because it's, at worst, it's draw a card, which is fucking sweet. And at best, it's get an extra land for that turn. And that land comes into play untapped. So you're just like, I play my 2-drop. Oh, really? I get to go Worldly Tutor for the 4-drop for next turn. So, it's very, very good. I'm going to play Eternal Witness, which is sweet, who's the 1 and 2 green for the 2/1, which, when it enters the battlefield, returns any card from your graveyard to your hand, because that's just good. You can't really deny that that's just good. I will run somewhat, it's a little more well-known now, but a really jank, sort of not really jank, but really hidden sort of corner case kind of card from Cold Snap that my brother had a ton of. It's called Oran Viper. 1 and 2 green for a...
Viper, I love that thing. I have one of those.
Yeah, and that's great, because I think I might actually build this deck, and because it's not that expensive, and so I just want to see an Oran Viper.
Tommy, how many lands do you have?
In the deck?
Expensive ones.
There is only 1 land which is over $5 in the deck, and it's Hinterland Harbor. In the deck, at least. Expensive lands that I actually own, I have a playset of Godless Shrine. That's pretty much it. But those are $12 each. Oran Viper is 1 and 2 green for a 1/3, and whenever it deals combat damage to a creature, destroy that creature at the end of combat. So it's not quite Death Touch, but it's close. And whenever a Ran Viper does combat damage to a player, draw a card. More Edric synergies, because you draw 2 cards every time, and then more Cassetto synergies, because you get it +2/+2, and you make it unblockable. Beastmaster Ascension, which I will actually look up. It gives, basically, it pumps the shit out of your creatures, basically. It's a green enchantment. And Beastmaster Ascension... Beastmaster Ascension says that whenever a creature you control attacks, you can put a quest counter on it, and as long as it has 7 or more... It's 2 and a green for an enchantment, by the way. As long as it has 7 or more quest counters on it, creatures you control get +5/+5. You see, Jimmy, that does the thing for you. It's just real powerful. Another card that I thought about playing was Sphinx of Magosi, which is just a bomb. Like, it's a rare card. It's 3 and 3 blue for a 6/6 with flying. Then you can pay 2 and a blue, draw a card, then put a +1/+1 counter on it. +1/+1 counters. There's lots of synergies for that, and then draw a card. There's lots of synergies for that, too. So Sphinx of Magosi just seems like... I mean, it's not really that bad. It's not really that good. It's a bomb. It's a 6/6 flyer for 6. How can you go wrong with the mana fixing we have? It's not really that hard to get into. It was even in Commander 2014. It's real good. Let's see if there's any other cards that we want to add. Do we want to add extra turn cards in this deck? Dog. Okay, so he briefly left, apparently. So I'm gonna go with... Alright, so...
Yeah, no, we could definitely do that. In Commander, it's definitely a good thing.
Extra turns?
Yeah.
Alright, so we have some cards I actually want to see. There's like this little part of me that wants to run Seed Time. And like, I just like... Do you know what it does?
Nope.
Seed Time is the only green extra turn card, and it says it's an instant technically, but if but you can only play it during your turn, so you can play it during like combat or something. And if your opponent has cast a blue spell this turn for 1 and a green, take an extra turn after this one.
I have the power.
I want to play that so bad. Do we want to do? Because I want to play it. It's not that good. Do we want to play Seed Time? Let's see how much money that is.
Every single hitbox of that.
No,
no, you don't want AC Time.
Okay. Yeah, because that card sucks. Wanderwine Prophets is actually okay, but we don't have a lot of merfolk. Walk the Aeons. It's 4 and 2 blue for a sorcery that has buyback. Do you know what buyback does?
Nope.
If you pay the buyback cost, you can return it to your hand instead of putting it in your graveyard. And the buyback is sacrifice 3 islands. You can sacrifice 3 islands in addition to any other cost as you play the spell. If you do, put this card in your hand as it resolves. And it's take an extra turn after this one. It's 6 mana, take an extra turn, at worst. Again, at worst, 6 mana, take an extra turn. At best, do it again. Do we want to do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright, so I actually want to see the price on this. I don't know what the price on it. It's not that much at all. So Walk the Aeons is in the deck. Time Warp's going to be in the deck, 5 mana, take an extra turn. Even though that's like $12, I think it's not really that hard to get your hands on one. Time Stretch. What about Time Stretch? That's 8 and 2 blue, 10 mana, for target player takes 2 extra turns after this one.
I'm not gonna let her see.
Is 10 mana worth 2 extra turns?
In Commander, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Time Stretch seems like it'd be a fun card to play. So that's... I think that's our extra turn package for that one, because we're not playing Seed Time. We're not playing, like, any of the stupid... Oh! We run a shitload of +1/+1 counter cards. Out of curiosity and concern for my moral well-being, do we want to play Sage of Hours?
Yes.
Alright, let's play Sage of Hours. We want to have, like, an Heroic Enabler. Is there a good Heroic Enabler in green-blue? Is it spell or ability, or is it just spell? cast a spell that targets it. Is there any good blue-green hero? Okay, well, of course there's good blue-green heroic enablers. But is there, like... I'm gonna look... I actually should probably look this up. So, sea green, blue... Target... Maybe something to do with +1/+1 counters. We could try... Creature... We could try target creature +1/+1 counter. That could be a lot of cards. That could be like 100 cards. That's 129 cards. Okay. Let's just look at some cards then. Battle growth is okay. Oh, there actually is this really stupid. I forgot about this card actually. There is a really. Oh, you're right. Holy shit! I didn't even think about that. Because he's the 4 mana. Okay, so the card that I found, which is a really good heroic enabler, is Blessings of Nature, because it's 4 and a green for the distribute 4/+1/+1 counters among any number of target creatures, and it's got Miracle for 1 green. So at worst, that's a really good card, and at best, it's an extremely busted card. But Master Biomancer is this extremely sweet mythic who's like $2 from, oh no, he's like $4.70, but from Gatecrash, who's 2 a green and a blue for a 2/4 that says each other creature you control enters the battlefield with a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to Master Biomancer's power, and is a mutant in addition to its other types. I don't think we care that it's a mutant as much as we care that it gets like 1,000,000 +1/+1 counters. So we care about that, we care about the Sage of Hours, we care about all that. Is there any good, like, auras that we want to run? Is there any good enchantment auras in...
There is Trollhide.
What the hell? I will...
I mean, it's not bad. It's pretty good.
Trollhide. It's got +2/+2 and has 1 green regenerated.
Alright.
That card is really okay. I mean, like, it's not expressively, it's not, like, super... Oh, you know what card we could run? Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's the card that like has the Thrun, the last troll ability, but it's like an enchantment. It's 1 second. It's asceticism. How the hell do you spell asceticism? That gave me like 50 results. Nothing you do helps me. Nothing that this magic card site info does helps me. Not Ascenso de Luna Lena. Ass. I just put ass. Asceticism. How the hell do you spell that? How the fuck do you spell this? How do you spell asceticism?
I don't know. I don't even know what that means.
I don't know either. I can't figure out how to spell it. Okay, you know what? All right. We're not gonna be this much children. I'm just gonna type in asceticism. That's how you spell it. It's ASCETICISM. Asceticism. There it is. Asceticism. There it is. Asceticism is 3 and 2 green. It's not even 2 mana. I thought it was 2 mana or something. It's 3 and 2 green for an enchantment that says creatures you control have hexproof, and it's 1 and a green regenerate target creature. I am down for that card, dog. What do you think? What do you think, J Park?
I think.
You didn't hear the card, did you?
No.
Asceticism is 3 and 2 green for an enchantment, which says creatures you control have hexproof, and it's 1 and a green regenerate target creature.
I like it.
Yeah, that is real good. There's gotta be... Oh, there is. There's a card. There's a card which is like... It's Overbeing of Myth is the card that creates this aura in the lore. It's Favor of the Over... So we're gonna include Overbeing of Myth, because I will explain you in a second. Overbeing of Myth is 5 hybrid blue-green mana. Its power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in your hand, and at the beginning of your draw step, draw an extra card. So I'm always down for that. As well as Merc Fiend Liege, who gives your green creatures +1/+1, and your blue creatures +1/+1, so your blue and green creatures get +2/+2. And he says, untap all green and or blue creatures you control during each other player's untap step. And he's 2 and 3 hybrid blue-green mana, which shouldn't be that hard to get. So that's real good. That's real good. And then Favor of the Overbeing.
There we actually.
Favor of the Overbeing, because we're playing a lot of multicolored guys in this deck. Favor of the Overbeing is this busted-ass aura. Of course, it's still not as good as the green-white, which is Shield of the Oversoul, which gives them indestructible. But the Favor of the Overbeing is 1 in a hybrid blue-green for an enchant creature, and as long as enchanted creature is green, it gets +1/+1 in vigilance, and as long as it's blue, it gets +1/+1 in flying. So if you have... Oh, this actually segues real nice, and it even says it on the page, into a pet card that I really like, but it's 1 in a blue-green, in a hybrid blue-green, for basically, if enchanted creature is blue and green, it gets +2/+2 flying and vigilance. And it also, if it's monocolored, it gets some stuff. But we have a ton of blue-green creatures in this deck. So I am so down to play this card. And it also segues perfectly into 2 more cards, which are really, like, a real good pet cards of mine. One is Momir Vig. Momir Vig Simic Visionary, which I will explain in a second. And then the other one is this card that I discovered a little while ago, and it just popped up at me again, and I asked Jamie if he had it, who's our friend, and he didn't have it at that time, but it's called Fable of Wolf and Owl, and it's 3 and 3 hybrid blue-green for an enchantment, and it says whenever you play a green spell, you may put a 2/2 green wolf token onto the play, and whenever you play a blue spell, you get a 1/1 blue bird with flying. So, like all the rest of the stuff, if we play a blue-green spell, we get a 2/2 and a 1/1, which is real good. So there's probably some other... So Momir Vig, I will actually show you Momir Vig. Momir Vig. And there's actually the new From the Vault lore thing, that picture. The picture that is the promo picture is Momir Vig. Momir Vig Simic Visionary is the guildmaster of Simic in the original thing, and he got killed, but 3 and a green and a blue for a legendary creature, elf wizard, and he's an elf, so maybe we have some elf synergies, maybe we don't. I don't know at this point, because Edric is also an elf, and we have some other elves. But whenever you play a green creature spell, search your library for a creature card and put that card on top of your library. So shuffle your library and put it on top of it. So whenever you play a green creature spell, whenever you play a green creature spell, Worldly Tutor. Whenever you play a blue creature spell, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put it into your hand. So, whenever you play a blue and green creature spell, go get a creature from your deck and put it into your hand. I am super duper down for that card. Like, that card, and then Elvish Visionary, because it draws us a card, because it's just Elvish Visionary, and it always gives us card advantage no matter what, so I'm just down for playing it any day. Is there any... I think we want to run a package of, like, Destroy Artifact and Enchantment cards. Is there any... Do we want to run any other counter spells besides Void Slime and Mystic Snake?
Counter spells. Well, is there... Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Counter spells banned in Commander, right?
What is it?
Counter spells banned in Commander, right?
No, counterspell's legal.
Well, play that shit.
Okay, so we're playing counterspell. Any others? Is there any other good ones?
There's that one that returns it to their hand.
That's Remand. That card's like $20, though.
Yeah. Alright, want to play real?
You know what I like? I like Dream Fracture. Do you know what that does? It's a conspiracy card. Yeah.
No, I've heard of it, though.
Yeah, I've Dream Fractured you like a billion times in conspiracy games because I just love playing this card. It's 1 and 2 blue for an instant, which counter target spell its controller draws a card and you draw a card. Drawing cards synergy! And like draw through your whole deck in one turn because you countered their spell. There's a card. There is okay, so we want to add some artifact and enchantment removal. We want to add Crowsand Grip because it's uncounterable. It's destroy target artifact and enchantment for 2 and a green and instant with split second. So cards can't be put on... Spells and abilities can't be put on the stack when it's there. Crowsand Grip. Do we want to do Naturalize or Nature's Claim?
Nature's Claim.
Okay. Yeah, because it's the 1 mana, then the 1 mana really does make the difference. And then... Oh, what was the card I was going to play? There's a card that says whenever you draw a card, draw 2 instead. It's, like, so good. But it's like, it's a billion mana enchantment, and it says whenever you draw a card, draw 2 instead. Not Dank Faden.
Is it just you or everyone?
I think it's just you. There's Null Perfusion. Recycle, Cyrus Technician, Stormsurge Kraken, Valoran. Whenever you draw a card, draw 2 cards instead. Isn't there a card which is like that? Whenever you draw a card... Is it enchantment, I think? It might be an artifact. I think it's an enchantment. I'm sure that this is a card. If any of you are still... If Thomas or Kevin are still watching, you guys... Give me a lookup of this. Tell me if you can find this. Oh, should we... Oh, whenever... Okay, here's your quiz of the day. See if you remember your, cards. Because we played this card a lot when we were in our younger days of Magic. It's a legendary enchantment artifact. And whenever creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. So obviously, tons of synergy with what we already have. 1 and a blue, creatures your opponents control attack this turn of Able. Okay, think about it like this. It's already a legendary enchantment artifact, so you know that it's one of the weapons of the gods. It's Bident of Thassa. And it's gonna be amazing. We're gonna put Bident of Thassa in the deck. That's where we're going with this. Eidolon of Blossoms is a possibility, which is whenever you play an enchantment, draw a card. Like a Verdurin Enchantress, maybe like an enchantment theme. I don't know if we want to go that far in. I want to find that card that says whenever you draw a card, draw 2 cards instead. I'm sure that that's a card that makes you... Oh, I forgot about Rhystic Study. Rhystic Study, this is a card that Brian played on us exactly once, and we vowed to never let him play it again, because it's a 1 blue enchantment. No, sorry, not 1 blue, it's 2 and a blue for an enchantment, which is whenever an opponent casts a spell, draw a card unless that player pays 1. This spell will either draw us a trillion cards, or it will slow the opponent down grievously. And we really want that, And there's a new promo for this, which the art is amazing, and we really want that, Reliquary Tower, so I'm putting Sylvan Scrying in, which is the 1 and a green sorcery that searches for any land. Because that just happens. Sylvan Echoes, Tamara Ascendancy, Thassa's Trail of Evidence, Ulamul Mysteries, Reverian Revel. I was so sure that there was a card that had that, which was whenever you draw a card, draw 2 cards instead. I want to say, like... draw twice the cards. I'm just looking it up like general terms on Google. If you would draw a card. Oh! It's Alhemerit's Archive. Are you actually listening to me? Did you just leave for a moment like you did last time? Did I just spell that right? Oh, I spelled it so close to right. Alhemerit's Archive is this busted artifact, this mythic artifact from Origins. And it says, you better get back on the damn Skype call line. Alhemerit's Archive says that if you would gain life, gain twice that much instead, and if you would draw a card except the first one you draw on each of your draw steps, draw 2 instead. So we draw double the cards, which, if that's not good, I don't know what is. Then we want to put Biomantic Mastery in, because we can draw a card for each, creature we control, well, draw a card for each creature target player controls, and each creature another target player controls. So that's Biomantic Mastery. Are you gonna get back on the damn line? None of you commented. Good job. Yo, dog.
Sure. Yo, what's up?
Hell was that?
That was from before. I didn't do that.
Did you mute your mic?
No.
You were listening to everything I was saying when I was telling you to talk and you didn't talk?
Yep.
Okay. Did you at least hear what I was saying?
Probably not.
Alhemerit's Archive makes you draw twice the cards and gain twice the life. It's a mythic artifact for 5 mana. Another card I would like to play is, and we played Biomantic Mastery, which draws a card for each creature target player controls and another target player. Another card I would like to play is, oh god. Something, like, dumb. It's something stupid, something so good that, like, you just can't not play it. Like, something real good. Something real good. Oh, I want to play Snake Form. Not just because it makes things snakes, maybe it makes our own stuff snakes, but it also, it's 2 and a hybrid blue-green to make target creature lose all abilities and become a 1/1 snake until end of turn, and you draw a card off of it, and because drawing cards, we just like drawing cards. Who the hell doesn't like drawing cards?
I like drawing cards.
Exactly. I think we want to play that. The card I was thinking of was, I have cards, and I have stuff in my binder, and I was considering, for previous commander decks, even though this is expensive, I was considering getting a Sylvan Library, which is an Extreme Commander Essential, which is this green card, which is played in, like, every commander deck that can. It's $23. It's called Sylvan Library, and it goes a little like this. And yeah, that's badly put, but you may draw 2 extra cards during your draw phase. I'm gonna read the errated text for this, so I'm going to say, so basically, it's 1 and a green for an enchantment, and it says this: at the beginning of your upkeep, at the beginning of your draw step, you may draw 2 additional cards. If you do, choose 2 of those cards in your hand drawn for each of those, and put them on top of your library unless you pay 4 life. Now, here's a thing. You can do more than one thing with this card. You can pay 4 life and keep extra cards, but you also get to choose which 3 of those cards you keep. So this basically says, at the beginning of your upkeep, cast a card called Brainstorm. And it's so good. That card is real good. Besides playing those, okay, so right now we need a few more cards that are just, like, good. Do you have any suggestions? Are there any good cards that are good that we've forgotten about?
Go for those, what do you call it? Just go for the Death Touch, go for the, at this point you've got all your, you got all your ideas. Just go for the basics, like, basics of Commander games.
Yeah, like Essentials and stuff, because we have some of those Essentials in there. There's a card that's the 1/3 Death Touch, Skullwinder. Skullwinder is the 2 and it's from a Commander set, and it's real good. It's the 2 and a green for when it enters the battlefield, return target card from your graveyard to your hand, then choose an opponent, and that player returns a card from his or her graveyard to your hand. It's 1/3 Death Touch for 2 and a green. That's pretty sweet. I want to say we play... Oh, I forgot a fucking card. We play a Cyclonic Rift. Cyclonic Rift is this busted card. Cyclonic Rift is this real busted card, which says, let me see, is our stream still going? Are things still going? Cyclonic Rift says that, it's got Overload, which is already a busted mechanic, but Cyclonic Rift, Cyclonic Rift is return target non-land permanent you don't control to its owner's hand. 1 in a blue for an instant. But it's got Overload for 6 in a blue. That Overload says you may cast this spell for its Overload cost. If you do, change its text by replacing all instances of target with each. Return each non-land permanent you don't control to its owner's hand. Overpowered much. Then we want to play, let me see. Yeah, we have some essentials, some of that. We want to play Harmonize, which just draws 3 cards for 4 green, for 2 and 2 green. We want to play, do we want to play Thrun? You don't know what he does, do you?
Nope. From the last roll.
Yeah, Thrun the Last Troll.
I forget. I used to know what he does. Can't
Thrun,
be countered. I know that.
he can't be countered. He has hexproof, and he has 1 and a green regenerate him, and he's 2 and 2 green for a 4/4.
Yeah.
How do you propose you get rid of this? Not in any easy way, I'm telling you that. He's $10, but I think we should play Thrun. I want to play Vengevine. Do you know what that...
My favorite card.
Vengevine is your favorite card? Vengevine... Ben, tell us what Vengevine does.
It is 4 mana, 2 and 2 green.
Yeah.
And it's like if you ever cast 2 or more creature spells, it's 4/3.
Yeah.
And if you ever cast 2 or more creature spells, it goes from the graveyard back to the battlefield.
Yeah. It's... Vengevine is... And it's got haste, which is like this... That's that giant thing about it. Like, Vengevine is real sweet. It's $20. I didn't even realize that, but I'm willing to shell out $20 because it's a mythic from Rise of the Eldrazi, and like there's so little of that set, and every mythic from that set is like $1 billion because of it. 2 and 2 green for 4/3 haste. Whenever you cast a spell, if it's the second creature spell you've cast that turn, you get Vengevine back from your graveyard to the battlefield. That is so good. I'm gonna play Findhorn Elves, which is the other Llanowar Elves Elvish Mystic guy, because it's just a mana dork, and who the hell doesn't love that? I'm gonna play Jiraga Tree Speaker, which taps for 2 green at worst, and then when you level him up, he makes all your elves tap for 2 green. I'm gonna play Jiraga Tree Speaker. I wanna play, let me see. I'm seeing... Yo, J Park, do we want to run, what is it, Primeval Titan? Is that card, like...
Primeval Titan? Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so, Primeval Titan... Yeah, Primeval Titan is real. Primeval Titan is extremely good. Okay, so Primeval Titan... Primeval Titan says he's $10, but I'm willing to pay this. 4 and 2 green for a 6/6 trample. Whenever he enters the battlefield or attacks, you may search your library for 2 lands, not basics, any lands. Oh crap! I didn't even notice that. That card is banned in Commander, and for good reason. Primeval Titan is banned in Commander. We cannot play Biorhythm, because that's banned in Commander, and that's for good reason as well. Oh, I got our last card. Beast Within. Listen to me on this one. Beast Within is 2 in the green for an instant that destroys any permanent. Destroys target permanent. And then its controller gets a 3/3 beast token. Again, I'm willing to give up a 3/3 beast token to destroy any permanent for 3 green, with 3 mana, 1 green at instant speed. So, if you'll bear with me here and actually talk, because we're going to end this soon, because we have 100 cards, including our commander. 29 creatures, 33 spells, 38 lands. We have a commander deck. 100 cards, Edric, Spymaster of Trest. We just sat here and brewed this awesome commander deck. And for this actual competitively playable commander deck, and I'm actually surprised about this price, which I have which I have a lot of the cards for and can get out of other places. It's only $220, which, as you know, for Magic decks, is not that much. Like the deck that what's his name? Like some of the decks that Jamie plays are like $500 or like $500, and they're not even, and like they're just decks with simple concepts, but they're just so expensive because he just has all these cards. So this is 100 cards. The commander is Edric, Spymaster of Trest. You could also replace it with Cassetto Orochi Archmage or any other blue-green commander that you'd want. To catch up, the deck has a couple of goals. Draw as many cards as possible, get politics on the field, get everything out of your way so that you can beat everybody else, and then just play cards that'll deal damage, ramp into huge spells with mana, and just have fun. Take extra turns, do cool plays, make some really cool things happen, and just have fun at the table with your friends, because when it comes down to it, that's what you really want to do. Because if we had built the blue-green competitive Elves deck, we would have just sat here...
Tommy.
What is it now?
Friends.
What now?
What if you don't have friends?
Well, then I guess you'll play by yourself. You'll goldfish every day. Even goldfish in the deck would be fun, because you get to play with friends, damn it. Wait a second. You get to play with your imaginary friends, but it's a deck that we just had a bunch of pet cards in. It's a deck that we just had a bunch of fun cards in, and that's what Commander's all about. It was real fun to brew, and we're just about done brewing it. It was really, really good, and I really like this deck, and I really think that we should buy it. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to spend lots of time, and I may even make a video or post or something about my time spent doing this, and we're going to try to build this deck and play it. And it's going to be sweet.
Did you make the deck list?
Yeah, I wrote down everything that we did. That's why I knew how many cards we had left. I can't count that well. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put that into a Word document. So we brewed this deck. It was actually real sweet. And unless we wanted to do something else, do you have anything else to add before we end the stream?
Good guys.
Good guys? I don't even...
Oh, memories.
Oh, there goes my Windows Explorer. Okay, so my
Are you
Are
ready, Tommy?
I get what? Whoa! Whoa! My entire Windows Explorer just went bang! My Windows Explorer just crashed. My Windows Explorer crashed. What is it now? Yeah, no, I'm still streaming. The XSplit didn't crash, but Windows Explorer crashed. So other than that, with Windows Explorer crashing, I think we're gonna end the stream here. It was real fun, it was real cool, and I should probably remember not to keep XSplit open while I stream. So, and yeah, I moved a lot of stuff over, that's real weird. So, it's been a fun time. I think, we'll end right here.
Good guys.
Good guys.